As Shigeru Miyamoto once said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. And I'm sure that we can all agree that Fire Emblem Three Houses is the best example of a delayed game being very, very good. But how exactly did Intelligent Systems make this game? How did they create one of the most critically acclaimed titles in the series? Well, let's figure that out. Welcome to History of the Emblem, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Development for Fire Emblem Three Houses technically began before the Nintendo Switch was conceptualized. In 2012, the Fire Emblem series was on its last legs. The upcoming title, Fire Emblem Awakening, was due to be the last game in the franchise. However, due to the unexpected success of Awakening, the Fire Emblem series was revitalized and well on its way to becoming a main franchise for Nintendo.
Strategy in motion.
Fire Emblem Awakening had garnered enough sales to save the series, but not quite enough to fund what Intelligent Systems really wanted to make: a new Fire Emblem installment for home consoles. This would take much longer. Intelligent Systems published Fire Emblem Fates in 2015 and immediately began work on another Fire Emblem game for the Nintendo 3DS. This third 3DS installment was due to be Three Houses. The 3DS version of Three Houses didn't make it very far in development because of the creation of Shadows of Valentia. While the developers were hard at work on the Fire Emblem Gaiden remake, Nintendo introduced the concept of the Switch to Intelligent... My Switch is upside down, isn't it? Nintendo introduced the concept of the Switch to Intelligent Systems. Impressed by the new hardware, Intelligent Systems decided that they should take their concept for Three Houses and rework it into a title for the Nintendo Switch. Full production on Fire Emblem Three Houses began after the completion of Fire Emblem Echoes in 2015. Intelligent Systems desired to make Fire Emblem Three Houses the biggest and best game in the series. However, they knew that they could not do that alone. The team hadn't worked on a full home console game since Radiant Dawn, and nobody was sure that they could handle the task. Enter Koei Tecmo Games. Ko Shibuwasa and his team of game developers were recommended to the Three Houses devs since IS and Koei Tecmo were collaborating on Fire Emblem Warriors at the time. In an interview, game director Toshiyuki Kusakihara made it clear that Three Houses would have been impossible to make without Koei Tecmo's help. Their experience with programming large-scale battles was crucial to the development of the game.
Gotta put in some effort now and then.
Much like how Awakening pulled inspiration from Genealogy of the Holy War by having a second generation, the pre- and post-time skip sections of Three Houses were also inspired by the Super Famicom title. However, Three Houses also drew inspiration from the Chinese novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The time management mechanic in Three Houses has been likened to that seen in the Persona series, but those games are actually not where the developers drew inspiration. The Nintendo franchise Pikmin is actually where the mechanic came from. Speaking of Persona, when Three Houses was first announced, many theorized that Shigenori Soejima, the character designer for the Persona franchise, had done the art for Fire Emblem Three Houses. The character designs were mainly done by Chinatsu Kodahana, known for the Uta no Prince series. Bayonetta and Nier Automata designer Kazuma Koda also worked on Three Houses as well. Many fans were surprised at the lack of child mechanics in FE16 after they were included in the last two original Fire Emblem installments. The development team considered adding a second generation after the time skip, but this was discarded in favor of support conversations that focused on platonic relationships rather than romantic. Instead of having every character be able to reach an S support with the whole cast, each character would only be able to achieve S support with the main character.
Whether I look it or not, I'm rather surprised.
Any further relationships would be implied in the end credits. Three Houses was first teased to the public during the Fire Emblem Direct in January of 2017. If you want to know more about the announcement and subsequent wait for Three Houses, check out my two-part Fire Emblem fan quest project on that. The game was finally released on July 26, 2019 after a development period of 4 years. Usually in this section of the video, we look at how this Fire Emblem game has impacted the current generation of Fire Emblem. However, at the time of making this video, Three Houses is the current generation of Fire Emblem. So, as we are entering a new era, I thought it would be appropriate to look at how Fire Emblem Three Houses switched up the basic Fire Emblem formula. Let's take a look. First and foremost, let's get the obvious one out of the way. Three Houses does not include Fire Emblem's weapon triangle. This is the first original Fire Emblem game to do this since Mystery of the Emblem, the third title in the series. The Cain and Abel archetype is completely missing from Three Houses, despite being present in almost every game in the series. The only other two games to do this are Thracia 776 and technically Gaiden. The Gaiden remake does in fact feature a Cain and Abel duo, however. Magic is treated much differently, in which it now has a set number of uses in battle. Unlike normal weapon durability, magic automatically regenerates after a map has been completed. Units are no longer restricted to a set number of classes. Anyone can reclass into anything, though there still are a few that are gender locked. The stat skill in most Fire Emblem games is now called Dexterity in Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's all the changes I will mention in this video, but please feel free to leave a comment down below with your favorite Fire Emblem Three Houses change. I'm really excited to see what the community thinks. Intelligent Systems truly accomplished their goal with Fire Emblem Three Houses. With the help of Koei Tecmo, they really did make arguably the biggest and best game in the series. Maybe this means that Intelligent Systems will work with other companies sometime in the future. Or maybe this was a one-time thing. Whatever it may be, Fire Emblem Three Houses has definitely been a very warm welcome to the new era of the Fire Emblem franchise.